Welcome to the show, 5 Star Fam. I'm AJ, and this is Greggo. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube.
This segment is sponsored by Thinking Man Tavern, a cozy Decatur neighborhood pub. Grab a tasty beverage from a wide variety of selections and a plate of something delicious from the menu. To go, check out Thinking Man Tavern.
So welcome to the show, Greggo of FTCUTD. That's for the culture. And yeah, of course, you might recognize him from some previous fan cams from yesteryear. But Greggo, welcome to the show, my guy.
It's been entirely too long, man. What's going on with you, man?
It's yeah, man. You know, staying busy, really slammed. But I'm stoked that you're on the show. How have you been?
It's been pretty good, man. Good times with the podcast. We got some big announcements coming soon. Just out here trying to live life, man. It's obviously it's been a crazy year and a half for everybody, and hopefully you guys are out here doing your thing, and just glad to be back on the show.
Absolutely, man. And yeah, for those that don't know, he is always in the supporter section at the Benz, and so yeah, it's amazing to get some different perspective as well. But yeah, getting on to that. How are you feeling about Atlanta United this year? We, of course, also have a decision day coming up. What's your temperature on the team right now?
I was talking about this a couple of days ago, and I find myself just like kind of lamenting as far as how the season has gone, and like, because it's basically a tale of two halves. You had the first half with Heinze, and just basically how that whole project just went to shit really quick, and then you have the second half with BV, and then with Pineda, and I'm like, oh, if we could have had this the whole season. Like I feel like we could have easily been top 3, top 4 if we played like this the entire season, whereas now we're just barely hanging on to a playoff spot, and going into decision day is going to be just really the pressure's going to be there, so we have to like step up, and hopefully everything works out in our favor. I think that the talent's always been there the entire way. It's just like I said, like with Heinze, it was like trying to draw blood from a stone, and like ever since he got let go, it's like it's still not consistent yet, but at the same time you see the glimpses of where we could be. Like, kind of reminds me of the first season, where it was like you're learning everyone again, and you're trying to develop that consistency. And I hope that people aren't too hard on this team if we don't make the playoffs, because I feel like just the amount of growth that we have been able to regain in the last 4 months has been huge, and I it only gives me hope for going into next year. But I think that like if we do happen to make it to the playoff, that nobody's going to want to play us. If we're all healthy and we're all available, nobody's going to want to play us.
Yeah, and a lot of things to touch on in what you were just saying. But Gabriel Heinze, with you being a Man U fan, how did you feel about him coming in? Because obviously, as kind of he wouldn't be necessarily be called a Man U legend per se, but he is a notable Man U player. Obviously, did try to go to Liverpool at one point. So maybe is there like a salty taste in your mouth from that?
It's interesting because a couple years back, before Frank de Boer got hired, he was rumored to be one of the people that we were looking at back then, and obviously we didn't go with him at that point. So for us to finally land him earlier in the year was supposedly big, because like he was seeing somebody out that was a real prospect, in the coaching game, wanted the fresh, bright faces and everything. So at least was encouraged, just trying to get away from everything that happened last year with the board. Was like, yeah, like hopefully we're in the right direction. And I think that aside from like probably like the first home game, 'cause I think that one went pretty well against Chicago.
Mhm.
It was like everything else just was like a real just drag. Like, and granted, there were a lot of things that kind of contributed to that. Barco being out with international duty. Uh, I think Joseph was also out for a bit with the international duty. Of course, he did Copa America. Like not having everyone available definitely dragged things down. And I think at that point, we we definitely still needed them on the field. Whereas I think now, especially since we added Araujo, I think that
Mhm.
we're somewhat more capable in the event where Barco or Yosef isn't there.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like I said, like we still things are still tedious and sensitive enough to where if we don't have everyone there, it's not a full guarantee if we'll win. And I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying as far as like how we played during the first season. With
Mhm.
Tata was like you knew the talent was there. It was a matter of getting that consistency and gelling together. And I'm hoping that just like I think we have a good thing right now with Pineda, and it's a matter of just continuing to build that chemistry together. Like I'm hoping that just kind of jump ahead. Like if we can keep, I say at least 75% of this roster, I have no doubt in my mind that we should be among favorites for MLS Cup for next year.
Mm. Yeah, and maybe with a little bit more experience, with some more guys brought in as kind of MLS veterans or et cetera, to kind of shore up the roster, especially if the whole Liga MX and MLS relationship continues to expand. Hopefully salaries slash the amount of money that teams can spend will go up, so that those coffers and the squad size, team talent wise can continue to increase. But I do have to ask, I think not related to any of this, but maybe related, because he's the guy who will be tasked with, probably at least for the kind of short term, until if his contract is renewed or not. But Carlos Bocanegra, obviously there was a whole lot of fanfare about him being the one that should be going as well with Heinze. What were you were you Boca in, Boca out?
Yeah, if you caught our pods during that period, yeah, like this the smoke for Boca was just so real. And granted, I think the dynamic within the front office has changed a little bit because I don't think Boca is necessarily handling the first team as much anymore. I forgot the name of the new guy that came in back in August, but I think for a clean break, it will probably still be beneficial for us just to say, okay, like, hey, let's, all the negative energy that kind of came under that period, basically pushing out Tata, reneging on Nagby, and just I think we started resting on our laurels a little bit, and I think that's what kind of led to basically everything that happened under Frank de Boer. Like honestly, for everything that came out early in the year, I kind of give Frank de Boer a bit of a reprieve because a lot of it was taken out of his hands, and I think that especially as far as the roster goes, so I can't really put that on him. I can put trying that stupid 3-4-3, but everything else, I'm like, yeah, that wasn't on him. But I think that just going forward, whatever it is that's worked since hiring Pineda, because like you see it like in all the social media, like you see like the energy is different now, and it's far more positive, and like hopefully whatever was allowed to develop first with Robbie Valentino and then with Pineda when took over, that's the kind of stuff that you want to keep. And if it means not having Boca, then so be it.
Yeah. And so, definitely, there is that. The the culture around the club has definitely seemed to improve and change for the better. And that's maybe what was the crux of it was while De Boer, I mean, with kind of the more possession football, but not really with a purpose. And then with Heinze, kind of similarly, but in some different respects. But Pineda and Valentino obviously have changed that culture, but then also have been a little bit more front foot and forward thinking. But do you give Carlos Bocanegra that reprieve, right, for having made this, been part of making the change, but also, like you just said, you think he should go? Like, does he get credit for it too?
That all depends, because I feel like internally they know how much influence Boca had first in hiring Pineda, and then also how much influence did he have as far as allowing the energy around the club to change. Was that something that was he part of the issue, or was he part of the solution? You know what I mean? So it's hard to say without knowing the full details and everything. But I think that if the change was allowed in spite of him, that means that like he really, he wasn't a part of what caused things to improve. You know what I mean? Like, now if it comes out to saying like, hey, this is all him, and basically he was held hostage by Heinze and the board, then hey, it is what it is. But I think that so far with Pineda, things have been if nothing else, been moving very positively, and that's I think the most important thing, because things under De Boer and then things under Heinze just got so tense and just so it
got bogged down,
really,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something that, especially considering the amount of talent that this team had and has now, that it just didn't make any sense to stifle that the way that it was, and and that's why I said like earlier, it's a tale of two halves. Like, if we had been allowed to play this openly and this freely, I say it's a far better chance that we're in a much better seating in the East, and hopefully be viewed as a bigger contender in the league as a whole.
Yeah. And speaking on that, because we continue to drop points from winning positions, and so last match, seemingly going swimmingly until yet another hammer drop, and in the latter part of matches. So against Toronto FC, it's seemingly where we're in control of the match. Luis Araújo picks the pocket of the keeper. Is able to pretty much effectively put in a tap in, and but throughout the match, Jose Martinez isn't able to put away his numerous chances, and I think
that part was frustrating.
Yeah, super frustrating there. Yeah, but I think, me personally, he gets a pass because of how many times he's actually bailed us out. But the other chances, especially maybe an offside by Barco, he's offside, but that if that was actually a goal, that would have been beautiful. But there were just, I think, too many instances of where we overplayed it. We dwelled on it too long. We're a little ponderous in the final third, but what have you thought of how many times we've dropped points from a winning position? I think it's something like 11 points where we possibly could have and if we even got half of that, we would be in a much better position, maybe in second or third.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, I need to just make a confession and admit something. It's my fault that United did not pull out the game on Saturday, because, like, for those of y'all that don't know, most of the past games for United like the past month and a half have been on Wednesdays. I've actually missed a good chunk of them. But like the last two
How
games that I
dare.
went to, dude, like it just, I know it's not like me, but like Wednesdays, man, it just,
It's tough,
it's a lot.
man. Yeah.
But the last two games I went to the game on Saturday, and then also went to one of the Wednesday games. I think it wasn't Miami. I can't remember which one, but like both of those games we drew. And all the games that I missed on Wednesday we won. And I was like, see, I'm not typically a superstitious person, but
Yeah.
they're giving me reason to be superstitious. So I was like, I don't know. But yeah, I think that as far as Saturday goes, um, here is one thing that just honestly just bugged me to know. And of course, mind you, when you're in the supporter section, that's a lot going on, so you're trying to just see as much as you can. But
Yeah.
one thing one thing I noticed throughout the whole game was that when we did have chances, you don't really see a lot of chances where it's like where you're contested and you're still trying to get a shot off. Like it was basically like where we kept looking for an open shot. And sometimes you're just not going to get that. Sometimes you just got to just rip it. And I think that
Because you might get a parry, you might get a loose ball, and never know what might happen. And yeah,
yeah,
it's just, you
because
gotta go
I
for it.
noticed a lot. I noticed a lot with Marino and Barco, not so much with Joseph and Araujo. And it was like, yo, like y'all just gotta just go for it sometimes, especially just given where we are in the season and given just the need for this result. It's like sometimes you just gotta just go for it. And I think that was something, especially given how the season has gone. You can't just rely on just one goal. It's like you got to just go for it. And if it results in a save, so be it. At least you tried. If it results in I'm going wide, because like we had a couple of those where we just like barely missed. And
Oh yeah.
and then like that just it just how the ball bounces sometimes, and of course with the offside call, like I wish I had been able to see the replay, because I usually record the matches. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but like I it looked good, at least from what I saw. So it's like it just sucks that you
He was off.
you missed opportunities, but
Barker was off,
it's
but it is what it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
there were a lot of other chances that we should have put away. And,
yeah, absolutely.
definitely when Joseph was one-on-one in the box on that right
Yeah.
side. I mean, and
Yeah.
Kamar Lawrence is able to recover and then tackle him. It's just, I think tells the tale of the night. It's just mischance after mischance of being able to put away the match. And it's the crux of it.
You have to just go for it at times. Like if you if you're, unless you just don't have the support around you to hopefully like lay it off to somebody else. I mean, sometimes you just got to go for it. And
Right.
I just hope that, I think that's probably going to be one of the biggest things that we look at going into the offseason, is that one, just being able to close games. Because like you said before, like we've lost we either lost or drew on so many games that we were ahead on, and just for whatever reason we just haven't been able to close like we should. And that's something that for me, having such a close finger on a lot of the fan base, like that's something that I know has been driving my up the wall.
Oh, for
And
sure.
and I'm hoping that, like I said, like I believe in what's there. It's just a matter of just gelling together even more under Pineda. But yeah, like that's gonna be something that, as if, like I said, if we do make the playoffs, we don't have those issues as much, especially going into a one-off environment. But we definitely have to get better on that.
Yeah, I have my theories for sure on why we are drawing so much as well. I mean, it's also, for me, I think it's because the crux of it first is that, Joseph Martinez coming back from, the ACL injury. He's not as sharp nor as dangerous as he usually is. And I believe, after that first year of recovery, he'll get back to it next year. But we also, don't really have another dangerous striker underneath him. to really help us close out any matches in getting more goals. I mean, yes, the other forwards in the squad should be able to put away some of their chances too, but at the end of the day, that's why you have strikers. They put the ball in the back of the net. And, with not having that, we aren't really, I think, creating much of a goal difference in these games. And so one mistake can undo us. And then there it is. We draw. And, it's just not enough of being clinical. And, that's biting us in the ass time and time again. But yeah, getting into our playoff chances. Because, yeah, we do have some matches coming up that basically leads up to Decision Day. We have, New York Red Bulls on Wednesday, FC Cincy on Decision Day. Obviously, a couple of teams that maybe could be had, really. I mean, considering where they are in the standings. FC Cincy with another wooden spoon possibility, probably actually certainty. And then also with New York Red Bulls, who are fighting for us with a playoff spot, and with our history versus them, where we just haven't beat them in the regular season. Do you think Gonzalo Pineda can do the business in which, basically, yeah, I mean, if we win on Wednesday, we are in the playoffs. If we don't win, if we draw, and Montreal tie or they lose to Houston, we're also in. But obviously, if we lose, it becomes all that much harder. So what's your I guess percentage of confidence that we can make the playoffs?
I'd say about 70%. Always Red Bulls and United. That's always just a tough match. Especially with us going up to Jersey for that game. I think that's going to be basically you got to have all hands on deck on that one, because they're just a point below us, so they have just as much to play forward in that game as we do in terms of making the playoffs and hopefully getting an improved playoff spot. So I'd say at least 70. Of course, Cincinnati, bless their hearts, they just here, just to play things out. So hopefully we can handle business on Wednesday to make things at least not as pressured on Sunday. But of course, you still want to try to improve your spot as much as possible, because there's a realistic chance that we could honestly get as far up as third, if I'm not mistaken, at least fourth, if everything that's in the right direction. So that means that you can't let up on Sunday, even if we win on Wednesday. So we can't just coast things out. We still have to play out, do our thing, and shoot for all 6 points.
Right, indeed. And I think that's the thing, too, is, we will need a lot of help from the teams above us, underneath us. Basically, the matchups, while we have a favorable run-in, it's still, very, very difficult anytime you're playing the Red Bulls, especially with how they match up against us, which, their press, and then with us being likely wanting to possess, though I don't know, with Gonzalo Pineda, with him having been at Seattle, they they are known to switch up the tactics a little bit, especially against clubs that they know don't want the ball. It could be something that we're in for a surprise on Wednesday with how we're going to play at Red Bull Arena. But it's also this: would you play Jose Martinez 90 minutes, knowing that he just played on Saturday, and then maybe likely will need to play on Sunday? What's your thinking?
I don't think you can really take any chances there. I think that as long as the game's not out of reach. You got to play them.
Mhm.
And if we can manage to get like more than 2 goals ahead, then you start considering giving him a rest. But at this point in the season, it's like you want your best guys out there for as long as they can handle being out there,
Yeah.
and hopefully because like we're coming up on an international break anyway, so it's like you really want to just make sure that we finish strong.
Yeah.
And I think as far as Cincinnati goes, that if it does come down to giving him a bit of a breather, hopefully it comes in that game,
Hmm.
and we handle business relatively quickly. Of course, Cincinnati's all is like I said, bless their hearts, but it's not always an easy win, but at the same time they just suck. So there it is.
Right.
but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and
but
ultimately, yeah, because they have played like Nashville tough, but
mhm,
ultimately still ended up in the losing column. But
right.
so they're not complete pushovers. But obviously, there's that too. Brandon Vasquez has been on fire, of course, former LA United striker, and so hopefully he's not super motivated to maybe do something against us while he's in good form. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you know, I guess I'm gonna put it to you, man. Will we be in the playoffs come the end of Sunday?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. And this I won't hold you to as hard, but what spot will we be in?
Let's take a look at these standings real quick. Like right now, we're in sixth. We're a point below Orlando. So just to stick it to them, we're going to be above Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Orlando, they can. Yeah. Stick it for sure. I completely agree with that. For those that know, yeah. I mean, I've received death threats from Orlando fans before, so yeah, anything that we can have to kind of hold over them, I love. So yes, that would be fantastic. But yeah, for me, yeah, I mean that's a good shout there. New York City, NYCFC being in that kind of 3 points above us. I mean, we'd have to be fortuitous a little bit there too.
Because keep in mind that we had that game because tomorrow is the game in hand. So basically, we had the opportunity to gain 3 points, and basically, then that's what will put us in a position to where we
Yeah.
can possibly leapfrog over New York City and Nashville as well. So, like I said, like it'll be definitely interesting just to
Right.
see what can be done. Because yeah, like if we win tomorrow, that already puts us no worse than fifth. So it's just a matter of just following through on Sunday and maintaining the spot.
Right. Indeed. Indeed. But yeah. Well, let's get some score predictions from you on the New York Red Bulls match and then FC
Mhm.
Cincy. Obviously, we have to project without knowing what happened on Wednesday to go into Sunday, but let's do it.
I'm gonna say, as far as Red Bulls go, I'm gonna say 2-1 to United.
Okay.
I think the Arujo should get a goal, and I'm thinking Barco as well. On Sunday, I'm predicting 2-0 against Cincinnati. Joseph and also Barco again on Sunday.
Okay. I mean, I would love all that to happen. Our away form has not been fantastic. One of the worst in the league, actually. But
I mean that's why it's a good thing it's Cincinnati because otherwise, yeah, I'd be like, no. But I think that, like I said, finishing strong, the impetus on that will be big. So hopefully, we like I said, we just follow through.
yeah. Me personally, I think it's a 1-1 draw, and yeah, I do think we can do the business against FC Cincy. So 1-1 draw versus New York Red Bulls, but yeah, I think it's a 2-1 win versus FC Cincy, and so we will be in the playoffs, I believe, after that, because well, we do need some fortuitous, like I said, from New York or Montreal. So it's just, yeah, we need some things to kind of go our way. But either way, yeah, you know, Greggo, dude, you're an OG on this channel. So, you know, I appreciate you as always. Anytime you can come on, it's always a pleasure. But yeah, let the good people know where they can find you.
Yeah, man. Like I said, just glad to be back on here, preaching the gospel. You can always find us at FTCUTD, like your podcast apps, YouTube, and also on Twitter, Facebook, and allegedly TikTok. You know, but we really don't do too much on there. But we're still there. But yeah, but FTCUTD Pod on there. But yeah, you know, chop it up with us. We cover everything, and it's going to be like I said, big announcement coming this week on the pod, and so hopefully y'all tune in and enjoy us.
Indeed, please tune into them. They're a great group of guys. Also, Mark always, you know, is a guest on there as well, and it's always great to hear him when he's on you guys' show. But yeah, Greggo, thank you so much, and fam, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, watching. Appreciate you so much throughout the entire season. This will be the last one before the season ends, but we'll definitely still have it for you after the season ends and into the playoffs.
Playoffs.
We make it. But,
Playoffs.
guys, yes, indeed. So, guys, remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and thank you so much to Greggo again, and we'll see you in the next video.